Now, Facebook shares are on pace for their longest weekly losing streak ever, and it's all ahead of their earnings after the bell. We're covering this, the fallout from the leadership to the ad impact, looking ahead to earnings. Paul Argenti is a professor of corporate communication at Dartmouth's Tuck School of Business, and Mark Douglas is a CEO of Mountain, a leading ad agency for streaming and connected TV. Paul, we'll start with you. And Facebook has been heavily criticized so far for their handling of all this publicity. What should they do now to try to change the narrative, or is it too big a task for corporate communications?
Well, I mean, it's going to have to be more than just corporate communication, Kelly, at this point, because the problem is much bigger than just a communication problem. I think it's a problem in terms of what they're actually doing. In the past, Facebook would kind of trot out an apology and do a mea culpa, and that was actually closer to what they probably should be doing than what they're doing now. Now they're focusing on more of a marketing strategy, trying to rebrand and use techniques that just aren't going to get them out of this hole. They need to really go back to basics, apologize for what they've done wrong, say they're looking into what happened, and try to move ahead with more trust and more transparency.
Does that mean that we need to hear it directly from Mark Zuckerberg and Sheryl Sandberg as a sort of, we know and we're sorry and here's what we're doing now?
Yeah, I mean, this is a full-blown crisis for them. I mean, you think about the number of news organizations involved, the amount of information, and the way their own image has been going steadily downhill, starting back in 2018. I think, yes, you need the CEO, you need the top leaders. The problem is neither of them have any credibility anymore, particularly him. And I think this is a bigger problem for them in terms of leadership. Where do they go from here is a really big question in my mind.
You know, Mark Zuckerberg is talking a lot about the metaverse. They're reportedly going to rebrand the company, if The Verge is correct about that, in that direction. Is the best he can do to just move on to these new digital worlds that are forming? I mean, do they need to fix the trust issue before they move into that paradigm?
I think they need to move, fix the trust issue before they do anything. I mean, if your credibility is shot, your reputation is shot, and your reputation is the most valuable asset that you have. Trying to rebrand and come up with a new approach to how you're doing business in the face of a crisis like this is like, pushing a big ball uphill. It's just not going to work. It's going to go in the other direction. And I have a really strong feeling that they just don't understand basic strategic communication tactics.